Nobody sets out to make a bad movie, but it does happen from time to time. Still, these awful flicks are made by professionals, meaning every now and then they'll be able to craft a standout scene or two. Some of them are so great in terms of character and story development that we wonder how the rest of the film went so wrong. Here are Screen Rant's 10 amazing scenes in terrible movies. Attack of the Clones. The Star Wars prequels are maligned for everything from the production design to the characterization, but they still have a few merits. One of the most powerful moments comes midway through Attack of the Clones, when Anakin embarks on a personal mission to save his mother from the Tusken Raiders. Getting to her too late, he watches in horror as Shmi dies in his arms, setting off a chain reaction that would lead him to become Darth Vader. It's haunting and dark, and also establishes that Anakin's bad premonitions could come true. If only the rest of Hayden Christensen's performances could have been this strong.
Life seems so much simpler when you're fixing things.
Superman Returns. Bryan Singer's soft reboot of the old Superman franchise was criticized for being dull and void of action, but that was not an issue in one of the movie's most memorable moments. When a plane malfunctions after a power failure, only the Man of Steel can save it, and what we saw was a thrilling throwback to old-school Kal-El heroics. The scene announced Superman's return both to the movies and in the film's story itself, illustrating why the world isn't the same without him. It's a shame the rest of the movie couldn't be this exciting. This early sequence got our hopes up for a rousing adventure. X-Men: The Last Stand. The Last Stand is credited with derailing one of the top superhero franchises, and it didn't offer much in terms of quality filmmaking when it was released. But things got off to a compelling start with Brett Ratner's depiction of Angel's childhood. Conveying the series' themes of mutant inclusion and prejudice in society, it shows the lengths someone with beautiful gifts, like Angel's wings, would go just so they could fit in. It instantly makes the mutant plight sympathetic, and sets up the mutant cure storyline in grand fashion. Too bad the rest of the film didn't have the same payoff. Die Another Day. Between invisible cars and over-the-top action, Die Another Day forced Bond producers to reboot the franchise from the ground up. But Pierce Brosnan's final mission wasn't a total loss. A standout sequence is when Bond engages in a high-stakes fencing duel with Graves. Expertly choreographed and done practically, the scene was so great because of how real it felt. The combatants tired as it went on, getting bloody and sweaty by the time their violent battle was over. The sword fight gave Die Another Day a grittiness that the rest of the film largely lacked. Matrix Reloaded. The first Matrix sequel was thought to be too heady and philosophical for its own good, but the Wachowskis still proved their knack for breathtaking action. By far, the most memorable set piece in the film is the 14-minute highway chase, notable for the amount of effort that went into it. The Wachowskis actually built a freeway to use specifically for the scene, and injected the action bits with a classic Matrix twist to give viewers something new and exciting. Full of high stakes and death-defying stunts, even those who dislike the sequels have to admit this is pretty slick. Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 3 had an overblown story with too many characters, and had trouble figuring out which arcs to pursue. Director Sam Raimi had always intended to use Sandman as a villain, and his passion for Flint Marko is evident in this beautiful scene. After his body is fused with sand during a particle accelerator test, Marko is reborn as the Sandman, in a moment that's poignant and touching. It's accompanied by a mesmerizing musical score and no dialogue, and draws viewers in with its genuine emotion that tugs at our heartstrings. Sandman was never a bad guy, and this scene shows it to great effect. Fantastic Four. Criticized for being more Joel Schumacher camp than Bryan Singer serious, the first attempt at a Fantastic Four movie didn't go over well, but even that had moments that resonated with audiences. After being transformed into the Thing, Ben Grimm attempts to reconnect with his wife, who is horrified by the monster her husband has become. It's a heartbreaking scene that's reminiscent of the mutant paranoia in the X-Men films, and goes a long way in setting up Grimm's character arc. If only the entire movie could have been this emotionally driven, Fox might have had another tentpole to supplement their top franchises. X-Men Origins: Wolverine. It's erased from the franchise continuity now, but the first Wolverine movie had a lot of promise in 2009. It was squandered, but one of the opening sequences is still one for the ages, showing Wolverine and Sabretooth fighting through every historical war as unstoppable soldiers never leaving each other's side. The scene thrillingly showcased their past, and seemingly was building towards an epic fight for their lives in the main plot. Sadly, these first bits are about as hardcore as the combat got, but it didn't make it any less awesome to see on screen. In fact, it would have made a great movie in its own right. Doom. It's no secret that video game movies have had trouble breaking into Hollywood, but that hasn't stopped the studios from trying. Looking to bring the first-person shooter series Doom to the big screen, director Andrei Bartkowiak found a way to replicate the gameplay for viewers. Audiences responded well to the first-person sequence, which was the first of its kind. It immersed moviegoers in an eerie setting that was packed to the brim with tension. The pulsating music score kept us on the edge of our seats and complemented the thrilling action. Overall, it teased fans with what the movie could have been had the rest of it been handled with such craft. The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. Peter Jackson's Hobbit trilogy is considered to be overdrawn, dragged out, and far too epic for the needs of its brief story. He still found a way to recapture some of that old Lord of the Rings magic in the famed Riddles in the Dark sequence in An Unexpected Journey. Featuring Andy Serkis' triumphant return as Gollum, it pitted the creature against Bilbo in a deadly game as the young hobbit tried to escape. The scene harkened back to Tolkien's writing and Jackson's keen sense of directing. It was one of the standout moments in the trilogy, giving us nostalgia and meaningful character development for the hero. Those are our picks for amazing scenes in bad movies. Do you agree with our list? Which bad movies have moments you enjoy? Sound off in the comments below and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one.